and welcome to the Amberglass video broadcast. I'm Max, I'm here with Tom and Mal from Quartic Llama, and we're just here for an interview, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to start by asking, who are Quartic Llama and how were you guys formed?
Quartic Llama is Mal, who's an artist, technical artist, and is doing a lot of our marketing type communication stuff. Erin and Ian, who are both fantastic programmers, and myself are the core team. My name's Tom, I'm an artist and I do the sound as well. And we've had a couple of other employees as well, an artist and a programmer, for the last few months.
That's awesome. Okay. What about, you applied to the Abertay Prototype Fund. For those who are unfamiliar with that, what is it? What's the process? And
the Abertay Prototype Fund?
Yeah, and how do you get into that?
Yeah, sure. So the Prototype Fund is a pot of money up to £25,000 for people to develop their own original IP. So we formed the company over 6 months ago. We're all mutual friends. We've done game jams together. A number of us have done Dare to Be Digital together. And then the guys who just finished uni, I was working up in Dundee, and we applied for the Prototype Fund. We applied for the full £25,000, which basically has employed 2 graduates, which was excellent. So we expanded the team to 6, and it's allowed us to develop one of our game prototypes. And by doing it in Dundee, we've been, afforded the space at Abertay University, software and equipment as well. So yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's alright. So what are your main aims as a developer? What products do you make, and who are they intended for? Core audience and things.
So our main aim is to make really cool games, and to stay independent.
It's a good aim.
We want to make games that are interesting to people of all ages. But at the moment we're focusing a lot of our games on things like, on the kind of, I guess you call them, what would you call them now?
I guess, we've got different
Core
gamers.
Core gamers.
Kind of thing,
I'm not really down with the lingo, but
yeah.
Core gamers, people who enjoy playing games, traditionally maybe on an Xbox or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're working on mobile platforms and trying to make a rich experiences on mobile platforms, rather than necessarily quick little games.
Yeah.
Having said that, we're also working on a lot of interesting kind of creative projects on the side as well. So we have a kind of experimental platform, and we have our kind of games platform.
No, that's really good. There's definitely a market for more full games on mobile platforms, because they are all just kind of really shallow experiences.
Quite light, aren't they? Yeah.
In terms of Moeba, it's your first title. How would you describe the game?
Moeba is a colour switching game. It's kind of like a sideways scrolling shoot 'em up, I guess, but it's about colour swapping, and it's set in a kind of bacterial ambient world. So it's quite a kind of chilled out game, and it's very visually kind of relaxing, I guess.
Yeah, no, I've played it twice, and both times you were at the DCA, I was there and played it, and yeah, it is just that. It's just like a chilled out game where you can just sit and relax and kind of play. It's really cool. But what was the kind of inspiration for creating Moeba?
So Moeba was made for a game competition, actually, a game jam, Samsung Barda platform, which was Samsung's kind of main alternate platform before Android just kind of rocketed. And so we knew we had a competition to apply for. We started thinking about some ideas, and we toyed around with a few. And one of the ideas was using a colour switching mechanic, and one of the other completely different ideas was a kind of cellular based game. And so we ended up combining the two things and making it in about 24 hours. We got kind of most of it done. Right. And that was for the Samsung Barda competition, which we ended up winning. So that was a great experience for us, and I think that gave us the inspiration to have another go and apply for the Prototype Fund.
No, that's awesome. What about kind of, is it close to being ready for release? And
it's getting closer all the time, but we've had to concentrate on our other game, which is Dama, in the meantime. So we're working on Moeba whenever we can, and it's kind of like, it's quite frustrating because we really want to finish it. And we'll release it on the Barter platform first, because that is what our agreement with Samsung. And once we've done that, we can do extra work and release it on iOS and Android soon after.
Yeah. So your other game you just mentioned it is Dama. What about, like, you know, what is Dama? Like, quick description of Dama as a title and the inspirations behind that game.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think just to go back to a question about the kind of audience that we're going for, I think with Moeba, as Tom just mentioned, that's definitely more of a wide audience. We've seen kids love that to quite, people who don't play games love Moeba. And Dama is slightly different in the sense that that's more of a core game.
Yeah.
So Dama is a turn-based strategy game with a big emphasis on collection. So in the game you essentially get to collect resources and using those resources perform alchemy to create more characters, quite unique characters. So we've spent the past 6 months developing our prototype with the help of the Prototype Fund. And yeah, it was quite crazy showing it last week at DCA because it's still very early in development, but it was really good to get kind of user feedback, so soon. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it actually. Like, I played it with Andrew, and Andrew thrashed me at it because I'm terrible at the game. But no, seriously, amazing game. Really liked it, and the art style. As I was speaking to you about it again at DCA, like the art style is beautiful. I said that, like, I've seen stuff like that before, like not in a game, but I've seen, like, kind of low poly art styles in like kind of shots before in people's work, and I just thought someone needs to make a game with that, and wow. And it's so simple as well. Like, I really like it. But like with Dama, like currently in production, do you have a set target or deadline? Or, I mean, obviously it's really early days, but
yeah, it's early days, so it's we're trying to make the right call. We're going to carry on developing it while we do a number of different side projects. But so far we've done a tremendous job doing this independently so far, and we've started to speak to publishers and possible partners. But at the same time, we like the idea of just doing it ourselves as well. So it's balancing both, seeing how long we can survive as an independent company, and then picking the right time to speak to publishers, etc.
And then that's going to be released across like tablets and phones and everything.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's we had it on the iPad, on iOS, but obviously we've got it on PCs and Macs and everything. We even had a version on Android early on. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been developed in Unity, so it makes it easy for us.
Very easy.
Quite easy to port across platforms. What about other kind of projects or other ventures you're like thinking about right now, or some stuff you want to get into?
We've been working very closely with some people. I'm not sure, we haven't signed the contract yet, so I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, if I go back to the museum job, for example, so we've started to kind of do interesting collaborations with different people. One of our first collaborations was actually with Abertay, Neon Digital Arts Festival and the Dundee Science Festival. We did the light show on the side of Abertay, where our programs programmed all the lights using scientific data from solar flares. So that was our first little project we did, quite a bit of fun. But then we did a collaboration with the National Museum of Scotland. So that was a children's educational game for their website. That went really well actually, received really well. And we've got an upcoming project with the National Theatre, and that's going to be based in Dundee, and actually there's going to be some kind of a phone game, there's going to be a game jam, so we look forward to updating you guys on that, but it's not quite
we're not there yet.
No,
not there yet, so
we'll keep everyone updated on that.
Cool.
I think, sorry, just to kind of go off on that, I think when you're in the situation that we're in, you have to keep your eyes open. And I think all of the people in Quartic Llama have done that throughout because we're all kind of recent graduates, and we've all had that attitude to see what opportunities are available throughout the course, see what game jams are happening, visiting lecturers, anything that's kind of interesting, presents an opportunity to do something that you think could be really interesting, we've taken. And I think that's extended into our work practice, where we've got our eyes open 360 degrees. We're all involved in technologies which they have applications across a whole bunch of different opportunities, and it's it's really important for us to be able to operate as a kind of a company in today's climate, in a competitive environment like Dundee, to keep our options open and to apply what we can do collectively and individually to a wide variety of interesting projects. And so far, we have been lucky enough to have some really interesting stuff to work with.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that'll continue.
Well, that's just that's answered the last question as well. Thanks a lot.
Okay, cool.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
No, I think this is great what you guys are doing. It's nice to
awesome.
see. This is like a kind of extracurricular type thing that hopefully can feed into your project. It seems like a really interesting project. It's great for us to have enthusiastic people like yourselves organising things like this and asking us questions that we might not ask ourselves.
Well, no, thanks a lot for the interview.
Thanks, Max.
Yeah, no, thank you. Awesome.